Hello everyone, this is Lori with Elm's Crafty Creations and I want to share another mini album with you and a tutorial. So I'm going to walk through it as usual and then do the tutorial right afterwards, so stay tuned. This album is a design team project for countrycraftcreations.com and it is, I used the Authentique Pleasant collection and it is beautiful. On the front cover I used this scene here because I really liked it. And this is kind of not a really large album. It's like 6.5 by 8. I didn't have anywhere else to use this scene. And so I stuck this, this was a cut apart, and I stuck this on the front because it looked like, maybe this was the place where these pumpkins were grown kind of thing. And I just thought it looked cute. So that's what I did on the front cover. On the back, I have the wood grain paper and on the spine as well. I love this paper. It's very pretty. And then here, I have done a mix of things. So let me see if I can get it kind of. I have some twine on here and it gets tangled sometimes. So, especially when I'm on camera trying to show it to everyone. Anyway, so this came in my design team kit, this beautiful gold ribbon and this brown seam binding. And these charms, what I did is I actually took apart an old bracelet. This is actually a leaf left over from my wedding stuff from years ago because I had a fall themed wedding. And then this is a bracelet that I just didn't wear anymore and it was coming apart, so I just tore it apart and I added different beads here. I thought that turned out really cute. So on the inside, it has 4 pages. I did a little photo mat on the front cover here on the pocket and added some seam binding. Inside the pocket I just have a plain photo mat and then some of the 3x4 cutouts. I didn't have any of the like embellishments or stickers or anything to go with this collection, so instead I fussy cut some of these beautiful little girls out of the 3x4 cut apart. So I thought she was really cute, so I cut her apart. This is attached to the front cover and it's just an envelope and it opens like this. Again, there's another one of those little girls, and here you could put a photo here, and then I just stuck a cut apart right there. So this closes back and it has a magnet closure. Turn this over and I have a photo spot here, and like I said, I didn't have any embellishments, so I cut this leaf out of my Kiwi Lane templates and put that there. So now the pages start the way they work. They're all the same, and there's like this little design element here on the front of this pocket. So there's just a photo mat plain in every pocket like that, and then I put a photo mat here. This doesn't lift up or anything, it's just to look pretty. I liked the way the eyelets were in here. This was actually a card that I saw on Pinterest, a greeting card, and I incorporated that into my album. So this just flips over. That's the first page. On the second page, I have this little bookmark, and I should have put cardstock on the back of it, but you could use even a white pen and just journal on it or whatever. And I love this gold ribbon. Place for a photo here. This is magnetic and it flips up at the top. And here I've used my scraps to decorate these booklets, and they're just plain on the inside. And then this little flap flips down and you have a place for a photo here. Again, one of those girls that I fussy cut, and then just some of the design paper. I tried to coordinate it all the way down. And then here is just a little tuck spot. You could put a photo on this. This is like a 2.25 by 3.25 photo spot, or you could just journal on it, which would be really cute too. Write a date or just whatever, who's in the picture. And so that's the way the pages work. So here's the next one, photo opportunity, and then I did different seam binding on some of these, and I just love the way this looks. And that flips over, and on this side I tried to coordinate on both sides. So again, you have the little bookmark that's plain on the other side. This is a 4x4 photo. It's magnetic and flips up. Again, the booklets, I tried to coordinate them with the paper as well. And I like to piece things together. And so here is the photos or the journaling spot. This you could put a 4x5 photo here, and same over here. And there's that area. Flip it over. I didn't do any mats inside the pockets. And this lifts up. Isn't this paper cute? I really love this design right here. So there's that booklet. I had 2 to 4 sheets, maybe it was 3 sheets, of the Authentique Spectrum paper as well. And there's the bottom. Got a nice photo spot here. And then there's this side with the photo mat inside. Flips over and up. And let's see, here's that booklet. And down. So really simple album. Not a whole lot of stuff added to it, and it's really easy to make in a weekend if you're looking for a quick gift. Here I cut out the quote from the paper, like Authentique always does a quote. This one says, "Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall," by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And then here I just have 2 of the cut aparts, and they're plain on the back. And then this whole piece is magnetic. There's a magnet at the top and the bottom, and it flips open. And you have a nice space here for a photo. Again, I fussy cut some items from the 3x4 cut aparts. And then here is just a simple waterfall. I didn't put paper on these. They will hold 4x4 photos. And so I didn't want to put any type of ribbon that you have to untie or anything like that. I just wanted to be able to open it and look at the photos, which is why I came up with the flap that is magnetic, and that holds it together nicely. So nice little hidden area for additional photos. As simple as the album is, it does hold quite a few photos. I mean, I think I might have counted like 40 or something, maybe more. I need to go back and count again, but it holds a lot of photos. So let's go through and I will show you how to make this, the page style. And let's see. Okay. Let me get everything else out of the way. So let's start with the base page, of course, which is right here. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue like I always do for my albums. I don't use anything else. I only use ATG tape to like put down like a photo mat or something like that. I don't use it hardly at all anymore because I found that it doesn't stick. And I guess it's the Texas humidity or whatever, but it doesn't stay on my albums, so I have to use glue. So take one piece at 5.5 by 7.5 for your base page, and then take another piece, which I've already folded it down, by 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score on the 8.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, and then go ahead and fold on your score lines, and you're going to add this to the top of this page. Okay, so there's our base page. I made 4 for my album. You can make more. The binding that I did 1/2 inch gussets, even though you don't have to. This album does not need that much space because the pages are so thin, but I'm used to doing that, so it was just a habit. So, which is the reason why I added the larger elements on the front and the back covers, because I had so much of a spine left. So it worked out. So you can continue and do your spine just like mine, and I think that it's just the right size, or you could make it smaller you could do smaller gussets and add more pages. It's up to you. Okay, so on this first page, to do the little pocket with the eyelet ribbon, you cut a piece at 8 inches by 6.5 inches, and then you're going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, and then you're going to turn it to the 8 inch side and score at 1/2 inch, and then on this side, I flipped it this way, and then scored on this side at 1.5. Okay? So you should have a 1.5 here, half here, and then half on each side. Does that make sense? Just like this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to miter the corners down here where all the 1/2 inch score lines meet. And then up here, I'm going to cut, let me see, do I need to, no, I'll just show you. I'm going to cut right here at an angle, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut this piece off. Okay, this is going to be our flap that we fold down. So again, on the other side, I'm going to cut this down to the score line, and then I'm going to turn it and give it a little cut diagonally. And this is what I end up with right here. So then this top piece, you're going to fold it down like this. And what I did is I rounded my corners on each side. And then you're going to fold all of your 1/2 inch score lines down for your pocket. Okay? And then you can go ahead and attach it. You don't have to do the eyelets first. You can just go ahead and attach it. That's what I did. So just like this on the very front. And super easy page style. So I will tell you what I did. On this one, when I matted it, I didn't put anything underneath. So you can't really see the flap very well. So going forward for the rest of the album, you can tell that I put the paper underneath it first, and then I glued this piece down. So you'll mat underneath here, and then you'll do your eyelets and string your seam binding or ribbon or whatever, and then you'll glue this down right here. So this doesn't come up at all. Okay? So that's super easy. So I just punched my eyelets like right here on each side. So let's see, let's go to the back of the page. So let's do the top one. So I cut one piece at 5.5 by 8 inches and score on the 8 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then fold on your score line. You're going to add this to the very top of the page. I like to pick it up so I make sure that I get the flap even on all sides. Okay, and then it should flip up like so. Let's do the bottom flap as well while we're here. I made a score line here by mistake, so ignore that. Cut one piece at 5.5 by 4 inches and score on the 4 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then go ahead and fold on that score line. And I rounded my corners on this as well. Add your glue and add it right to the bottom of the page. Okay, now flip this little pocket down, and you're going to add this pocket. This one's 1.5 by 6.5 inches, and you're only going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And then what I did, I actually rounded the corners at the bottom because my top was rounded. And then I added the glue here, here, and then down here at the bottom. I didn't add an additional flap for that. And then stuck it down. The reason being is because I wanted this bottom flap to be kind of tight. I didn't want to have all that space there. And if you add the little gussets, then whatever you put in the pocket will fall out all the time. So it's better if you just glue down this side like that. So that's it for that piece. And then at the top we're going to add this pocket. I cut this one to 8 3/8 by 4 1/2. Score on the 4 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 8 3/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And then miter your corners. And fold. Whoops. Oh, come on, light. And I'm going to add glue. Now the reason why I did the booklets in these side pockets is so they would stay inside easier. Because I found when I put just a single photo mat, by the way, when you add your glue, add this pocket to the very top of the page. This will give you a little gap between the score line of this page, and you want that so that way your page, your flap closes flat. So anyway, if you put just a single photo mat in this page, it's going to fall out constantly. So either put more than one or do the booklet like I did. Okay, and then that's it. You just decorate it. It's super simple. I added my magnet like here somewhere and then up here on this pocket, and that was it. So that's it for the page style. Really easy, right? And then what I did with my photo mat that I added here, I did, whoops, I cut it to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I just glued it down on these sides here. And I did use my We Are Memory Keepers scallop punch for that, for those edges. So that's it for that. Now let's talk about the binding quick. So I've scored this piece to show you as an example. I've included the measurements for the binding system down below. And what I suggest is when you do your binding system, I give you 1-inch hinges here. And there's a reason for that. So when you put your hinges together, you're going to have a larger than normal hinge. It would be 1 inch. So when you're adding your pages to your binding system, just make sure you glue them only halfway on the hinge and not all the way to the score line, okay? That way it just gives your page a little bit more movement so that your flips and your flaps and all that stuff don't get caught right up against the binding system. That's the only reason I use that for. So, and also I wanted to let you know that when you score according to my measurements, you'll get a 1 1/2 inch space here to attach to the book, and then here it'll only be a 1/2 inch. So what I did is I cut a 1 1/2 inch piece of paper and then just glued it right on the top of this to the score line, just so it gave me another inch or so to attach to my binding. I hope that makes sense for you guys. If it doesn't, leave me a comment down below and I will answer your questions. So let's talk about the envelope on the front cover. So you're going to need one piece at 9 1/4 by 7 1/2. You're going to score on the 9 1/4 of an inch side at 1/2 inch and at 6 inches. And then you're going to fold on those score lines. So I'm going to fold my hinge in this way to the back, and then I'm going to fold this flap to the front, because this is going to be our envelope closure. And again, on my envelope, I rounded the corners. And then we're going to add the other elements of the envelope. So you cut a piece to 4.5 by 7.5, and you're going to score on the 4.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. And just go ahead and fold on that score line. Add your glue to the outside of the flap, and you're going to add this just directly on top of here, like so. Now notice I have this back flap folded back. Okay, now you're going to open this up, and we're going to put our two little flaps at the top and bottom here. Let me go ahead and get, if I can, let me see if I can reach it. I was going to get my corner rounder so that way you can see the way it's supposed to look. I use the 1/2 inch side. That's all I ever use. Hardly ever use the other side. So I'm going to round these corners too, because I like that look. So now that we have this, we're going to take these pieces. These are cut to 5.5 by 2 inches. Score on the 2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then fold on your score lines. Were they 5.5 or 5? They should be 5.25. Did I write that down wrong? Inside flaps. Sure did. Sorry about that. Your measurements are correct on your sheet, but I, for some reason, wrote them down incorrectly on mine. They should be 5.25 so that they're slightly smaller. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to add it to the outside of the flap. And directly at the top, just center it. There should be just a little bit of space on each side. Okay. And now this one. Okay, and these fold down, and then you'll have your magnet right here and then right here, and it will stay together. Now when you go to attach this to your binding system, did I tell you wrong? I did. So anyway, take this flap. It's actually going to go the other way, so I told you that wrong. So you're going to attach the flap this way, which doesn't matter. I just have to burnish it the other way now. So this flap here is going to attach right here, and you're going to attach it before the gusset of your spine on this side. Okay, so this is your first page with your hinge, and this is the envelope. It'll attach like that. And then you'll add this pocket on this side after you attach this to make sure that the measurements fit and they're correct, but you shouldn't have any issues. Okay, next let's talk about the back cover. Let me get those. We'll do the waterfall last, and let's do the flap. So this one I cut to 7 inches by 7 7/8. I have it backwards. And then I scored on the 7 inch side at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 inch, because I give you a 1/4 inch gusset on this one. So fold on all of those score lines. And you'll end up with something that looks like this, with a nice gusset on it. So this is what's going to attach to your binding, and this is actually the right way this time. And then we're going to add a pocket on top of here. So this pocket is cut to 4 3/4 by 7 1/4, and you're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 7 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And then go ahead and miter. And add your glue. And you're just going to line it up with the bottom. You can choose to round your corners if you want. If you do, you'll have to do it to the pocket as well, which is what I did. Okay, now this one's going to attach to the binding and it's going to flip out like this. And let me just show you that. So you can see here, right here, where that gusset is that I give you. So, open this up, and you're just going to line it up and it's going to attach directly right here to the back. And then it's going to open this way. And then what I did is I put my magnets here and down here and then two here. And next we'll do the waterfall. So, if you're familiar with waterfalls, of course you don't have to watch this part, but I like to go through it for new people. I cut a piece. I always like to cut a base piece because that's how I get my waterfalls even. Otherwise I mess them up. So this one's going to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. No scoring is needed on this piece. For your waterfall pieces, you're going to cut 5 at 4 1/4 by 4 3/4, and then you're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then just fold on all those score lines. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and add them one at a time. I like to turn mine this way, and you're going to add this to the very top, and it should line up perfectly on all sides. You flip that one up, and then just keep adding one right after another, right underneath the last one that you glued down. And it should come out even. Okay, almost done. 2 more to go. Hope you can see this with this craft paper. I try to only use craft cardstock in my tutorials so that way you can see everything. Whoa, sliding around on me. There we go. Alright, so there is our waterfall. Okay, and then this one you're just going to, of course, glue to the back cover on the inside. And that's it for our album. So it was a really easy one to do, and it was a lot of fun. I really like the way this looks, just a decorative type element. Again, it's a great album to give as a gift. Here is where you would add your waterfall. I did the scallop punch on the edge of mine just to give it a little bit of a decorative look, and I thought it turned out really cute. So there you go. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. As always, you can visit the Facebook page for mine. It's LM's Crafty Creations, and then visit the one for Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. That's what it's called. And then, of course, go to countrycraftcreations.com to purchase this beautiful collection. And you know I always love fall things, so it was a super fun album to do for me. So that's all. There you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.